Okay.
At least now they say, got it. Do you want to leave?
Yes. So welcome everyone. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Bridget Greenwood. I'm founder of The Bigger Pie. And we have with us Genevieve Leveille, who's the CEO of Agriledger. Genevieve is an advisor to The Bigger Pie. The Bigger Pie was set up in September 2019. And our goal is to make sure that we support the women in blockchain space, we attract more women into the space, and then we retain those women, because in other tech sectors, they're leaving after 10 years. I think it's really important that we can get senior women. We need to get to a minimum of 30% senior women across the board. And then at that threshold, the hiring process, et cetera, for the younger generation coming up won't face the same systemic biases that we see all too frequently. So Genevieve has been working with ConsenSys. She had a number of people go through the cohort on the previous program. So I'm going to pass over to Genevieve now to explain a little bit more about what the process is, what to expect, and then obviously we'll have opportunity for you guys to ask questions.
Good morning, everybody. I see we're coming in from all over the place, the world. That's wonderful. Welcome. I'm Genevieve, and I am the CEO of Agriledger, and we have just completed our implementation of a pilot in Haiti for the World Bank. And now I no longer need to say where Haiti is. Everybody knows, thank God, unfortunately.
Yes, not for the right reasons.
Fresh fruit. We are looking at the fresh fruit value chain. And that has actually led me to understand very clearly that we need more women in the blockchain space, not just as, so my challenge is there's not enough developers. So I somehow reached out to ConsenSys, and I got, I know what it is Bridget put, it's her fault. So this is why I had to bring it back to the Bigger Pie. She posted on a chat that Tessie Marin, who was at ConsenSys, was looking for women to join a cohort. And so I went to Tessie. She says, can you get me 10? I said, yeah, I can do it in Haiti. So we got 10 young ladies who went through the course. And I just didn't do 10. We did 20. We did 10 in Haiti and another 10 in South Africa. And that was the first cohort that we looked at. So when this year came in, I said, I'd like to double down. Unfortunately, I would say because of the challenges that are still going on in Haiti, I'm not sure how many women or how many people will actually be able to get on board. But what we thought is that it would be great to have it for the Bigger Pie. And given that we're not going, we have plenty, we thought, let's not keep it, let's not restrict it. Now, this is an online bootcamp. It's going to be intensive. I'm not going to lie to you. It's intensive. You don't have to attend the sessions live, but you will be they will be recording. Also, you will have access to mentors. What we want to do, and we would like to ask your permission, if you go through the program, to actually start speaking to you on a regular basis, to not only start creating like a regular meeting, to understand what the challenges are, because the ladies in Haiti told me part of their challenges was language. It was in English, and it took that they needed to go back and listen to it. Second of all, the way you're interacting with the teachers is online, is through Slack. So sometimes it's not really a face-to-face, it's not a Zoom meeting. And so one of the things that we want to be able to bring you is also mentors. And when I mean mentors, I mean people who know how to do this, so that if you have a question in terms of, I don't know how to code this, you're not waiting to ask the question. And this is the thing, is we want to make sure you're asking question, because what they have found is said, no question is dumb. It allows people to actually start thinking, and you may actually find your own answer to your questions. So I think as women, we need to learn how to express our challenges, what is bothering us, or even what we may think is stupid question, which may actually be a very smart way of looking at the problem differently. And then the last thing we want to do, and this is where what Bridget talks about retaining, is create the opportunities. I can't tell you how many times people come to me and say, do you know somebody who could audit? Do you know somebody who could code this? But we don't want you to go in, and this is where I'm actually putting myself in front to say, you're going to do it for free. No, you're going to do it and you're going to get paid for it. I'd rather when somebody pays me $100 to do something, rather than they ask me to do it for free and they don't realize and value my time. So it may start small, but the idea, what we want to do is to grow the community and to grow the ability to do this. So the first step is getting you guys to do the bootcamp. There is a basic training. The basic training is really going to measure two things. One, give you a sense of information. Like one of the things that we're talking about is how many individual coming out of these training program don't know what GitHub is, don't know basic information. So you may already know that, but how do you set up your own GitHub? How do you, because part of what this course gives you is not only Solidity training, it helps you create your portfolio, because it is the LinkedIn. GitHub is your LinkedIn when you're looking for a job. So if you get into the your GitHub, when somebody says, I'd like to see what you've done, you just send the code. So what we want to do is build, this is why we also asked you to give information. We're going to start looking at the metrics, being able to also understand who's got what kind of experience. And when somebody calls me and says, do you know somebody? Or as I grow my team, being able to have people to bring on. And ideally, I want to continue with ConsenSys, but my next hit is going to be Corda. We build on R3 Corda, and I want all of them at the table providing opportunity for women. That's all I have to say. Any questions?
Before we go into the questions, I just want to back up what Genevieve is saying. So you can go through the course, but the whole point of going through with our cohorts is that you don't go through the course yourself. So we can be at various levels and we have someone to ask. We can figure it out amongst ourselves. We'll have access to the mentors. I've also found that basically 5% is the amount of completion that most online courses have, because you don't have that peer-to-peer commitment. You don't have that peer-to-peer support. So we will be having a Telegram group where everyone can be in there, in addition to the Slack group that ConsenSys offer. And then we will be having regular check-ins so that people can ask, you can ask within the group, you can ask the questions within the group, but also it gives us a chance to bond, to get to know each other and to be able to support each other. So those are what we're looking to do to make sure that everyone can come through. Could you just, before, and again, can I just ask you to clarify, Genevieve? I was mentioning at the beginning of the call, but not everyone was on. I don't have coding experience, so the likelihood of me being able to go through the foundation course, which we all have to go through before we can start the boot camp, right?
Mm-hmm. The foundation is very light. I think that I could go to the foundation and do it.
Well, we'll find out if I can or I can't. But so everyone has to go through the foundation course before you can start.
Yeah, the foundation course has to be completed 100%. There is no, you're not going to be scored. What we're scoring more than anything there is your commitment. Once that has been done, because I will let you know that they do get a paying cohort of about over 100 people. So this is normally $1,000. So there is actually a cost to the organization, and they see this as a way, one of the things I love about Ethereum, I don't particularly want to code in Ethereum, but I do think that they have one of the best communities and also much more engaging. And Tom and Coogan, who are the two leads in the academy, are amazing. And I mean, some of the nicest folks I've ever had the opportunity to meet. And so however, because they're splitting their time over so many individuals and also trying to grow the business, what we want to do is to provide you that support, because also with the bigger pie, everyone will be disparate. That's why we, like the other commitment that we'll ask you for is really to be able to communicate to us what's good and what's bad, so that we can then go back to Tom, and because I have a monthly meeting with him to give him feedbacks. So what happens is that the course starts in September and ends in November. It's 3 months. Ideally, you should be able to finish it in that time. I will tell you, last year, I did get dispensation for some of the women because, let's say, Haiti was a total mess with lockdown and also COVID. But I would like to report that we had a 30% completion in Haiti, and there's actually 3 of them now who are asking, so we'll get to 60%. And then in Africa, in South Africa, we had a completion rate of about 70%, so which is really good. And the next step that we want to be able to do is to really help foster these opportunities. So Bridget has been building a job board, and it's then, sort of like letting it out. I don't know, you have to be hiding under the opportunity for DeFi and NFTs, and those need solidity. If you need solidity for that, but even if you don't need solidity, if they're, let's say, using another platform, most of them are built basically on Ethereum. So there is a lot of opportunities. You just need to say, I know how to do this. Here's my portfolio. And then, so ideally what we would like to do is, by the time you're done in December, being able to also help you source the roles that could be around that.
Yes, and so thank you. For clarity, if we don't get a chance to do the foundation one that we have to complete 100% before we can start the boot camp in September, does the scholarship carry over to the 2022 cohort, or what's happening with that?
Yes. So this is one of the things that I did get Tom to agree to, that anybody who registers will have an opportunity till 2022 to do that. So it will give you the opportunity to try one more time. But I would encourage all of you to get on the bandwagon now, because it's not about the course. It's about as I say, the Benjamins that are coming.
Wonderful. Okay, so we open it up to, is Lenny, yeah, you're still there. And we will be able to provide additional support. Lenny has got a group that is designed to help bring people through. So we'll just connect all the dots to all the resources that are out there to make sure that we can get through. So who has questions? Who would like to ask a question? Go for it, Lisa.
So having no coding experience at all, the foundation course, how long is that course? Is it doable by September, do you think?
Yeah, they said about 2, if you have coding experience, about a week. If you don't have coding experience, probably about 3 weeks. But I would suggest is, I usually say I have no coding experience, and then I start thinking about the stuff I have done. It's logic. If you've ever written a piece of logic, or you're mathematically inclined, you will find that you can do coding. And I mean, I think that sometimes we underestimate ourselves, and it's like also coding to me is a skill set that you can learn. It's not something like, let's say you're going to be into it. And today's coding, I remember I walked out of a C++ class at university. I was like, no way am I going to deal with this thing, but it was very different than what it is today. Today, it's much more intuitive and much more natural language. Before it wasn't natural language.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would
Anyone
like
else?
to,
Hi,
how many,
Gumati.
hi, how many online session will be there, live session?
I think it's once a week. So I don't know the exact number. Once I can find that out. And also one of the things I can say is there is an aptitude test that we were given last year. So if you guys want, I can send that over also
Yes,
for you to take that, and it'll give you a view of where you score. But they decided that the aptitude test didn't help as much define people's success as much as being able to get
Ask
them to understand the
questions.
basics and ask questions. You know, really important is, this doesn't make sense to me. Please, can I get some help? And in case you're not getting anywhere with getting an answer from Kugan and the team, what we can do, what I'm looking to do is to bring in people. Obviously, we have Lena, we have others in the team, but one of the guys last year, the girl who actually finished, which was the star, she was the first one who said to me, I really don't know what I'm going to do for my project. So I said, okay. So I called Samuel from Brave, and I said, Samuel, I need your help. Can you please have a conversation with her? He did. And it was, you know, he's in London, she was in Haiti. They had a Zoom call. And from there, she was able to finish her project. And that's really where both Bridget and my contacts. And when I mean I have contacts, I mean I can go pretty far deep into things. So more than happy to open my Rolodex for you guys.
This aptitude test will be the eligibility test, or
No, there's no, the only eligibility test you have is completing that basic training.
okay. Yeah, I have.
And if, yes, sorry, Kumati.
No, you come on, you carry on.
No, I was going to say that's the, you know, because I think that sometimes we score ourselves much lower than we should. So this is a way of really testing your resiliency to continue with the course. And that will give you a view of what kind of question will you have? What is the basic training about? And if you're like, oh, I can't do this at all, then obviously you'll have another year to try and get in again into the course. But if you finish it by the 1st of September, then you are accepted into the the long course. Yeah, the scholarship. Okay.
And could I ask a question?
Yes,
I just to clarify, I think both Genevieve and Bridget probably know the answer to this already because they know me, but I've been working on finding some, my goal is to connect people to this who are from the other side, the digital divide, you know, communities of color around the world. I've found some candidates from Los Angeles, and they're from Latino communities, and 2 of them are men. And then we have with Neela in Bangladesh, we're doing a training of the trainers right now that reaches all women, but 1 of them or 2 of them are men, right, Neela? Are you guys okay with that?
Oh, no. This year I said that I wanted it to be 40% up to 40% male, because I actually believe that in marginalized societies,
okay,
we not only do we have an issue with women not having access, but by also limiting it to only the men, to the women, the men end up doing gangs, like they say in Haiti. I actually want to have some male, because then that takes them away from idleness.
Better men, yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's great. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure it was okay. I figured that's what you would say.
Yes, absolutely. Does anybody else have any questions?
I think Ashia had a question because she went off.
Actually, I want to know actually the basic course before start the training. So I have seen that one. So there is an column there is a row, there is the right you should have a GitHub links. But the thing is, now I use my company GitHub links. I don't have any personal.
So you set up a GitHub. I have one for my company and I have a personal one. So
Okay, so
you have an email address or a Hotmail address.
should I open another new one?
Yeah, unless you know what happens is that you can actually remember with the one that you use for your company, the only challenge is that you're using your company's email address. So if you were to move from that company, you would need to change your email. You know, you need to change the email in order to be able to get the new email registered. You can have your personal space. What I would do if I were you is I would, do you have projects under your company which are under your GitHub? Your own personal
yes.
So I would
just some of my personal project also in my company's GitHub.
no. So I was going to say to you but it's under your name. So my suggestion to you would be to because there's two parts to this. I would go and talk to your manager and say, this is the opportunity I'm looking at, and I'm going to be using the GitHub from the company. Is relating it to my personal, but with the one which is already on the company ID, or do you suggest I use my personal ID? That's one thing. But the second part about this is you're informing them about not only that they're realizing that you're doing something to improve your own knowledge, but also give you time if you have any challenge, like I say, once you have to do your project, being able to support you with that. So it's not, you're not going out and saying, I need your support. It's more sort of like when you're having your meeting with your manager, you're informing them that you are taking the initiative to actually improve. So it gives you, and let them tell you which way it should be. And if it happens that you do happen to leave the organization, then you always need to remember to be able to move your project, because it's your individual project, to move your project at that time. But I suggest, my suggestion would be to speak to your manager, just to be able to get the brownie points that way also.
Yeah, no problem. I can do myself also.
Because you are your own manager, aren't you? Wonderful. Do we have any other questions? Love, I've seen that you've just joined us. We have recorded this and we do have another AMA later on today. Do you have any questions, even though you haven't? Do you have any questions that you would like to ask? And that's, yes.
Yes, I do have a question. Thank you. All right. So for the program, are we going to be having video sessions, like meetings like this, or is it just going to be a course schedule? We're going to be given access to a particular course, and then we get to study the course and form study groups?
So the ConsenSys Academy will have video courses. Given that it's a global program, they realize that not everybody can attend all the sessions, so all the sessions will be recorded. So, and they also use Slack, and they will have one-on-one session, things like that. So that is going to be through the ConsenSys program. What we talked about is through the Bigger Pie cohort, we will also look to create community, one which is one on Telegram, to allow everybody to be able to create that sense of community so that you can ask any question. And then what we'll look to do also is to have regular catch up with you guys to get a sense of what's good, what's bad, what's bothering you, what do you need help with, so that we can, again, create that sense of community. Because Bridget talked about it before, it's usually found that only 5% of people complete online courses because they are in the void by themselves. What we want to do is to make sure that everyone is able to complete the work. Everyone feels like there is someone there to catch them. And we will also look to bring in mentors. And finally, what we really want to do is to create opportunity for people to get roles thereafter.
Okay, thank you very much.
Do we have any other questions? Okay, then.
Will you have an AMA next week for the lingering candidates? Because I know Neela has a couple that haven't attended today, and then I have these new people from LA.
Yeah, certainly. So we've got the recording that they can.
We could do for LA maybe next week. We need to look at the dates, Erin, if you don't mind. But as Bridget said, we have the recording. It's just more, I think it might be, Bridget, might be worded in terms of being
I
able
understand.
to support them differently.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
I'm just saying that there would be both.
Okay, sounds great.
Excellent.
So I'm looking forward to you guys, and I guess Bridget and Kenny will start the Telegram group. So if anybody doesn't have Telegram, which I'm telling you, I'm still loving my WhatsApp.
But yeah, does anyone have an issue with being on Telegram?
Except I.
Well, yes, but okay, wonderful. Lisa, do you think you're going to apply? Put you on the spot there, didn't I? I didn't need to do that, sorry.
I think I want to look at the foundational course and get a feel. I don't have mathematical aptitude. So I just want to make sure that I can take advantage of it and complete it. So I would like to. I mean, if I can pass the foundational course, yes, I would like to apply.
Okay, so make your application now, then I have your contact details, and then I can get you into the group with Lennis to help people like you and I to go past that foundational course. I think if we try to do it on our own, we'd be making our lives much more difficult than we need to, because there is the support out there to walk us through the basics. You're all right with that, Lena, aren't you? Yes, wonderful.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for your time and your interest, and we really look forward to being able to learn together.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice to meet everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.